62 is the most dangerous age in retirement planning, not because it's too early, but because it might be your last chance to act. This is where most people believe they're ahead of the game, but what they don't realize is real deadlines have already passed. I'm Emlyn, and over the past 15 years, I've helped hundreds of retirees plan with clarity. Most people I work with are in their late 50s or early 60s, and almost all of them still think they have time. And what happens next could lock in years of financial stress or clarity, depending on what you do now. The cost of waiting isn't just financial, it's emotional. It's the fear of missing your chance and the regret of realizing too late you could have done more. But the good news is there's still time to get clear. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to regain control, avoid the biggest planning mistakes, and take action while you still have time to do so. You might think you've got time, but 3 subtle beliefs are already shaping your future, and most people don't even realize it until it's too late. It's the one that delays more retirement than anything else. At 62, most people still think they have time to plan, time to adjust, and time to figure it out. But what I've learned sitting across the table from hundreds of clients is that 62 isn't the beginning of the retirement conversation. It's the last real opportunity to take control. And the truth is, most people will retire later than they think, not because they choose to, but because they don't have a plan. This video is your wake-up call. I'm going to walk you through the 3 most dangerous beliefs I hear from people at 62. Beliefs that cause regret, loss of control, and missed opportunities. So let's start with the first belief that quietly derails more retirement than you may think. Belief trap number 1. I'll wait until 65. That's the real retirement age. One of the most widespread and dangerous beliefs I see in clients who come to me at 62 is the assumption that 65 is the real retirement age. It sounds harmless at first. After all, 65 is when Medicare kicks in, and when many people, it's what their HR departments or Social Security statements have conditioned them to expect. So they treat 62 as just another checkpoint along the road to 65, a time to start thinking about retirement, not actually preparing for it. But here's the hard truth. 62 is not a checkpoint. It's a decision point. And if you treat it that way, you'll miss your opportunity of your most valuable window to make proactive decisions. The belief that 65 is the ideal target age delays action when the time and action is critical. Why? Because the years between 60 and 65 are some of the most strategic and financially sensitive in your entire retirement plan. Once they're gone, you don't get them back. At 62, you still have time, flexibility to adjust your investment strategy, to run cash flow models, and to explore Roth conversions and make Social Security decisions on your terms. You have more control over managing healthcare costs before Medicare kicks in. But every year you delay without a plan, those options shrink. Worse, people often enter 65 in a reactive state, scrambling to make decisions. That means missed tax planning windows, hasty Medicare decisions, and retirement income plans that are more guesswork than strategy. Clients who wait to 65 often end up discovering that retirement isn't something you step into. It's something you must build towards. And those who delay that process often experience more stress, more regret, and far fewer choices. But the idea of waiting until 65 isn't the only trap people fall into. In fact, one of the most emotionally charged and financially misunderstood areas of retirement starts with how we think about Social Security. That leads us to belief trap number 2. Delaying Social Security is always better. Another extremely common and misunderstood belief is the idea that delaying Social Security is always the smartest move. I hear it consistently from clients at 62. I know I should wait till 67 or 70 to get the most out of it. On the surface, it makes sense. The longer you wait, the bigger monthly check, right? But that's not the only part of the picture. What people don't realize is that Social Security isn't a one-size-fits-all strategy. It's deeply personal. Factors like your health, life expectancy, marital status, work history, and lifestyle goals all dramatically affect whether delaying makes sense or not. Unfortunately, this belief often paralyzes people. They don't want to make the wrong decision. So they push off telling themselves that delay equals discipline. But discipline without context is dangerous. In fact, for some people, claiming at 62 is not only a reasonable decision, it's a strategic one. It might allow for you to preserve your portfolio during a volatile market. It might reduce your withdrawal strain on your savings. And for others, it simply aligns better with their personal situation, especially if health or family history suggests a shorter than average lifespan. I've worked with clients who delayed Social Security for years, only to pass away before they could even claim it. And others drained their retirement accounts to avoid claiming early, not realizing the long-term damage it caused. Believing that waiting is always better ignores the nuances and the complexities of retirement income planning. It turns a deeply personal financial decision into a generic formula. And for many, that creates stress and missed opportunities and a distorted view of what retirement readiness actually looks like. Let me give you two examples. First, I worked with a client named Dave, 62, healthy, with decent savings, and he planned to wait until 70 to maximize his check. But when we modeled his situation, claiming early helped him preserve his portfolio during a market downturn, reduced his tax exposure, and gave him the confidence to retire sooner. That smaller check gave him more freedom than the bigger one ever could. Now, let's contrast that with Sarah. She delayed until 67 because she believed that it was the responsible move. But to fill the income gap, she withdrew heavily from her retirement accounts. The result, a much higher tax bill, a lower long-term growth, and ironically, less monthly income in the end. Same belief, two different outcomes. That's why Social Security isn't about delaying. It's about designing a plan that fits your real life. Now, before we dive into the next and most emotionally and deceptive belief, let me make you an offer. If you're 62 or approaching it and you're unsure whether to retire, what to claim, or how to line everything up, don't guess. Click the link in the description, share your details, and I'll personally review your situation. And I'll send you a custom video that walks through your retirement timing strategy. You'll see the trade-offs, the opportunities, and exactly how to make the most of your window at 62. This is exactly what I do for my clients, and I'll do the same for you. Now, let's talk about the third belief, the one that traps people, not because it's wrong, but because it feels so safe. It turns a deeply personal financial decision into a generic formula. So, if waiting isn't always the smartest move, what is? You might be surprised to learn that sometimes the biggest threat to a retirement plan isn't a number or a plan. It's a feeling. Belief trap number 3. I'll know when I'm ready. Perhaps the most emotionally resonant and deceptive belief I see is the idea that you'll simply know when you're ready to retire. Clients at 62 often say things like, I just don't feel ready yet. Or I think I'll just wait another year just to be safe. This is incredibly common. And on the surface, it feels cautious and wise. After all, retirement is a big decision. You want to feel secure. But here's the problem. Most people have no definition of what ready actually means. They haven't calculated their essential expenses. They haven't stress tested their income sources. They haven't mapped out their healthcare costs, withdrawal rates, or inflation impacts. Instead, they're relying on a vague, emotional benchmark that never fully materializes. The mindset leads to indefinite delays. 1 year becomes 2, 2 years become 5. Before they know it, they've missed their most flexible retirement years, the time when their health, mobility, where they could have made the most of their freedom. Worse, some people don't even get to choose when they retire. Layoffs, illness, or caregiving responsibilities force the decisions before they're ready, and they never took the time to define or plan their retirement. They entered into a stage unprepared, full of anxiety. I've seen clients who had financial ability to retire at 62, but waited until 66 because they didn't feel confident. Tom, for example, had more than enough money saved, but he didn't feel ready. So he kept working and waited 4 years later. When he finally retired, he was more exhausted, less mobile, and miss the key travel years he and his wife had dreamed of. Then there was Lisa. She was laid off unexpectedly at 63. No plan, no runway, and instead of retiring with confidence, she scrambled to make fast decisions under stress. Both are waiting for the perfect moment, but retirement isn't about a moment. It's about the framework you build, readiness. You don't wait for it. And when they finally did retire, they regretted not taking those earlier years to travel, enjoy their health, and spend more time with their family. Waiting for a feeling instead of working towards a framework creates paralysis. At 62, time is too precious to waste for clarity to magically appear. Clarity is created through planning, not postponement. So now that we've uncovered these hidden traps, how do you break free from them and move towards confidence, informed decision? Because when you see the exact plan I use for clients at 62, you'll realize retirement isn't about waiting until you're ready. It's about building an exit strategy before that window closes. In the next section, we're going to walk through the exact steps that bring clarity, confidence, and show you how to take back control of your retirement timing. We started this video by saying 62 is the most dangerous age in retirement planning. And by now, I hope you see why. It's not because it's too early. It's because it's the last moment where you'll still have the power to choose before decisions get made for you, before time or life narrows your options. We've talked about the 3 belief traps and that quietly shape most retirements, thinking that 65 is the real target, assuming delaying always equals better, and waiting for the feeling of readiness. These beliefs aren't just ideas, they're patterns. And if you're not careful, they become regrets. So if any part of this hit home, if you're 62 or close to it, and you're wondering whether you're ahead, behind, or just stuck, know this, you're not alone. But also know that time is not waiting. And every day you delay is another day you could be gaining clarity, confidence, and control. Retirement isn't about hitting a number or waiting until someone tells you it's time. It's about knowing your plan, owning your decision, and stepping into the next chapter on purpose. Don't let assumptions or emotions cost you your most valuable resource, time. Click the link in the description, share your details, and I'll personally send a custom video breaking down your retirement strategy. You'll see trade-offs, your windows, and exactly how to take control of your next steps while you still can. Because 62 isn't the end of the road. It's the turning point. Make sure you are turning in the right direction. I'm Emlyn, and I'll see you in the next video.